Live?
Live.
Nice.
You didn't want some music playing or anything?
I'm afraid we get kicked off because a commie book will be like, you guys don't have the rights to that music. And again, they'd probably say that if I was the one who wrote the music. Let me turn this off and we'll get going. I'm hoping we have quite a few people on the show tonight watching, considering I didn't just share this episode's poster reel just to Judd's. I did it to Slash Drag Racing. I did it to the Bullet Express because it's a TLR car, you know. I know a lot of people want to see it, and I think we're really lucky, so.
I don't know why I don't get notified.
Well, you just get yours going on the live. Yeah, that's weird. Car, you know. I know a lot of people want to see it. All right, ready to do this?
Anytime you are, my friend.
Okay. Let's see. I'll give them a look. We'll go with this one.
You look like a little kid.
No, I like this small. Right. Thank you. Thank you once again for being here and helping Rich.
What's up, Clay?
Oh, you know what I do need?
Now.
Because I'm old as AF.
Should have thought about it.
I know.
Go to the bathroom again?
No, I don't have to. The bladder hasn't gone yet. It's the eyes. Are my glasses right in there somewhere? No? Let's just dive right into this. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, once again, first and foremost, everybody, welcome to episode number 14 of Shark Frenzy. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Judd, owner and operator of Judd's RC Motorsports. Again, tonight I have one of my close friends and teammates here, Rich Levac. You can say hi,
Put
Rich.
the face in it.
Voila.
That's all you get.
Did I just, all that cleaning and I only cleaned one? Hold on, guys, I just want to put my glasses on.
He can't read the cue card, so.
Yeah, I can't read any, like, look how small the writing is on that box. I can't read that. Okay, so, I want to give a bunch of huge shout-outs tonight. The first shout-out being to, let me put this down. The biggest shout-out tonight being to Jake Rosen of Jake's Performance Hobbies and all the guys down there that throughout the years have always taken care of me. There wasn't going to be a show tonight just because my house is just more and more of a wreck of boxes every day. And some stuff I'm waiting on in the mail didn't come. And I actually got a message privately from Jake Rosen at Jake's Performance Hobbies. And he just he said, hey, if you want to be the first one in Northern California to have one of these, be to the shop before 5. And I messaged him back. I said, I'll see you in 15 minutes. So thank you, Jake Rosen and Hunter and Tim Terry, everybody at the shop. Jake's Performance Hobbies is located in Rohnert Park, California. I don't think there's a whole lot of hobby shops out there quite like Jake's. I've been going there for over 30 years, and it's just a really good hobby shop. We're very fortunate to have it. So
yeah,
you can read Jake's Performance Hobbies is open Tuesday morning, and it is open through Saturday. So Tuesday to Saturday. They can be reached between the times of, I think, 11 to 5.
You need a duck.
Oh, I need a duck.
They could see it.
707-586-3375. They ship to lower 48, guys. So you got all your drag needs. Anything new that comes in, whether it be a Creighton or the Creighton, 40S or whatever they're running, or a helicopter, or the Draco airplanes, or he does a lot of miniature stuff there. He's got like a lot of the, I don't know what I forget what they're called, the warlocks with the swords and the knights and the dragons and you hand paint them and stuff. Yeah. Jake's actually really good at doing it. I've seen some of his work where you're like, is that real?
Yeah, he's posted some of that stuff.
He's
looks
pretty good.
Really sharp, yeah.
But Jake's, I mean, all your RC needs, get on down to Jake's, or you know, if you don't have, I always, you know, want people to, I will always push and support people supporting their local hobby shop. If you don't have a hobby shop that's local to you and you're not as blessed as we are to have Jake's, then support Jake's and give him a call for all your drag racing, rock crawler. Guy can just either has in stock or can get just about anything. So, without further ado, Jake gave me an inside tip. He got 2 of these in today, and he wanted me to have the first one. And I just went from DEFCON 5 to DEFCON 1 immediately and started blasting the internet and telling, you know, certain people that, hey, watch the show tonight if you want to see this thing. I think that we've all seen this thing a lot. Most racers that were in Vegas saw it, and I think that, I'm going to say it, I think that whatever Traxxas comes out with their new Slash car is going to be awesome, okay? But just like the Losi, everybody's waiting for the Traxxas, and they've kept it so, you know, they showed us the tranny, and then it comes in a bunch of different colors. But Horizon Hobbies absolutely just opened the book and let anybody walking by skim through the pages. We know what the chassis layout was going to be, what it was going to have inside of it. They were handing them around out in Vegas. So we kind of all knew what to expect. So you might ask me out there on the interweb right now, well, Dan, what are you going to do with this car tonight? That's where you're supposed to chime in and ask me, Dan, what are you going to do with this car tonight?
Oh, I didn't know I had lines.
Oh, I forgot. That was an ad to the script. I should have done that first. What we're going to do, we are going to, I went down and bought this for no reason other than just to bring it on and do a show and completely disassemble it tonight. We're going to go through every nut and bolt on this thing tonight. We're going to open it right here. I've actually, Tim at the shop actually beat me to it, and he sliced the box open, and we took a little peek inside, but it has not been moved. It's still zip tied down with the factory zip ties, which was hard to do for a kid to not open his toy, you know? So, big, huge shout out, Jake, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Rich's heart, everybody that's associated with me and my teams, thanks you for allowing us to be able to do this tonight. If it wasn't for Jake and the guys down at Jake's Performance Hobbies, we wouldn't be doing the show tonight. So,
thank you.
Without further ado, I want to get some other shout outs to one of my best friends, Paul Peterson, who had a birthday yesterday, and I don't know if Paul's reading. Okay, this is getting bad. I can barely read with my glasses now. Clay's in the house. But anyway, Paul Peterson had a birthday yesterday. I think Paul's in the shop making bodies. He's really getting close to being totally caught up, and stuff's starting to come in. We were able to purchase our plastic and our freaking boxes that were lost. We got those, and this guy ordered 2,500 boxes. It was like 6 pallets that are like 6 feet tall, full of boxes. Okay. Because he's tired of running out of crap, you know? So when he gets a chance to buy it, he's just like, hey, I'll take all of it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he's been doing just a killer job. We all love Paul. Paulie's a great guy. Some new stuff, I'm going to say it, Paul, but some new stuff is in CNC production right now. And I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to give a date. We want to kind of keep it flexible, but just know from the bottom of our hearts we're going to be bringing you the new Shark RC products as soon as freaking humanly possible. So we've jumped all the hurdles and we've fought the 3 dragons at the end of the video game, and we're getting ready to win the princess. So I don't know for you video game nerds out there that made some sense, but
they're on here. I'm sure they're nerds.
We're really, really close to some new products, so which is really, really awesome. I know Rich is excited. I'm super excited.
Stop talking. Open the box.
We will. So I love you, Paul, if you're watching. By the way, earlier today when I talked to Paul, he wanted me to tell you hi. So, hi.
Hi.
For Paul.
Hi, Paul.
I want to give a huge shout out to Steve Villanueva at R1 Products. Big stuff coming. Can't say it quite yet. It's in production, but big stuff. So pay attention to Judd's RC Motorsports for your direct line to what's coming from R1 next. Then I'd like to thank Dave Enstrom and Chris Vieira over at DE Racing Tires. These tires I think this is a tire box right here. Just DE to the moon, DE, it's just all DE stuff. I love it, dude. The stuff just works so good. Testing some new stuff, some prototype stuff that me and Rich are doing to the tires. And so that's exciting, but I want to give a huge shout out. If you're new in the game and you don't know who DE is and you're looking for a tire to run, there's a lot of tires out there. I think some of the top tires are obviously Proline, DE. There's a bunch of other tires out there. I know Voodoo's out there. Voodoo makes a good tire. If you are just getting into it and you want to check out a good tire, head on over to DE's website and check out the Street Outlaws. So let's get into this.
What's up, Paul?
Is that Paulie?
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna call me just to interrupt the trend. Paul, don't call, okay? I want to talk to you, but I've talked to you 3 times already today. You're already watching. If you call, the transmission will stop. He'll still call. Watch. I am drinking iced tea tonight. Okay, so this is the 2021. This is going to be the Losi 22. I believe it's got a stand-up transmission in it. I don't know. We're going to find out together tonight. We're going to rip it apart. This is the new drag car. And I'm excited about this entry-level car over other entry-level cars for a reason, and we'll get to those. But it's this is what we're gonna be. They're like, stop showing us pictures. We know it's in the box. Actually, there's nothing, dude. This is where I keep all my old phones. So this is how you're gonna get it. You're looking at a box that's about 11 inches tall and about 5 inches wide, and probably 2 foot 2 inches long. And you're gonna cut, and you're gonna open it up, and this is what you're gonna find in the box. So you obviously have, just like any other kit or ready to run or whatever, you're gonna have, your basic stickers and your manual for the card. It looks like they got some ads in there, and I'm not sure, we'll check it out later, but I think they gave you extra sides to these sides that hold the bodies out. I think that the sides are cool because you could probably run a little strip of Velcro there and actually use it on the body. First glance, to me, to some of my traxxas stuff, it looks pretty narrow, but compared to a DR10 or a bullet car or something like that, it doesn't really, it looks just about right. So I like the first glance of this car because the rear pod meaning suspension, A-arms, the transmission, everything, just the whole rear assembly is just really low profile. I really like the body mount they got going on here. We'll see if it's too flexy when the body starts flapping up and down or not. But this is going to be kind of like Associated's DR10. I mean, they want to make an entry-level drag car, and I think that they kind of sat back and watched a little bit what happened with the DR10, which was, I think, smart on their part. I know the first problematic part, DR10, let me just state right from the get-go, is a great car, okay? It's Associated, come on. However, the DR10 specific kit, I went out and I after 2 rips, we stripped the idler gear in it because it's plastic. So I think little parts like that, if you're building a drag car, those should just be no-brainers to be included in the kit, and that is what's included in, that kind of stuff is included in the Losi, which is kind of exciting because it that's overwhelming for a new guy. A lot of us guys, we've been into this for 15 years, 25 years, me over 30 years, and to a new guy getting into it in 2021, he goes and spends whatever on a car, and then on the way out of the hobby shop, somebody says, hey, you need 1 of those, 2 of those, 3 of these, and he's like, his head starts spinning, Let's make it simple and easy for the new guy to get into. And some of those little things, I think, were implemented into this car from Losi and Horizon Hobbies a little bit better than it were with the DR10. The DR10 is a great car. I think that with even electronics, that this and the DR10, like, this would be like a great... a new 13.5 class, you know what I'm saying? But you had to run a DR10 or a Losi 22 or the traxxas one that's coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's some kind of, with traxxas coming out, and in this car and in the DR10, there's some kind of awesome spec class you could make there. But anyway, let's dive into it. So it's attached to a rail of sorts of cardboard. Now we're going to take that out, and I always save my kit boxes, so we'll put that aside. And as you can see, just like any other toy these days, or anything that's comes ready to run like this. Oh man, I even like it more now that it's out of the box. It's got a good stance. Look at those wheels. The wheels are awesome. They're like the old center lines. So let's get, I got some diagonal cutters here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this thing out. 1 and 2. I believe that frees it up. So right off the bat, I'm noticing that the fluids aren't quite thick enough. It seems very bouncy. It seems like it's got a really hard spring on it, which is a good thing. I like hard springs, especially in the rear end. I like the stance. The only thing I don't like about the stance is there's no limiters in the shocks on the outside as bump stops, and it'll bottom out on the chassis. So if that usually walks in hand with a correction at high speed and the car leaning over too far, and then you can't correct it because it's past the point of no return and it darts off that way anyway. And the way we stop that, especially under deceleration, is going to be bump stops in the front that, with your battery and everything, all your weight in it, you know, and you push the car down, and wherever it comes back up, we fill that gap on the outside of the shock shaft with fuel tubing from nitro in RC, just to kind of hold that there. It can't go down, it can't bottom out, it can't chassis roll too hard one way. All my cars have that. That's an old trick that I've fixed more cars with, so I'm probably going to put something like that in it. Again, Losi and Horizon Hobbies just nailed it with the stance. It looks like it's got about probably a 1.5 degree rake in the chassis right out of the box. I think it's going to, with the right motor, being a roller, it's going to be a wheelie king with the adjustment that's on here. But the cool thing is they've put a lot of adjustments. So you see where the tie rod comes down to and triangulates the wheelie bar to the back of the transmission housing. Well, if you look closely, there's all kinds of holes here. So a newbie, if he's wheeling and he wants to drop this down a hole, he can just take this screw out, bend it down a little bit, put the bolt back in the next hole over, which is nice. Adjustability is nice. So it's got these, we'll call them the boomerangs, because it kind of looks like a boomerang when it's bolted onto the chassis, which is going to be cool. It will, you could even affix the body to the side of these, just to make it more structurally or aerodynamically and structurally sound. The sides are a cool idea. I think Mark Vine had one of the coolest ideas. So he's got these big plates on either side, and they're really lightweight, aluminum, Lexan, whatever, or aluminum frames with a Lexan center. And I'm like, man, wouldn't that just act is the same as when it got up as air being under the body and still lift it? And then I noticed that Mark's the solid center of Lexan was on a little hinge and it opened. So when he went up, if the air was going to lift the car, it would open the flap doors first and let the air go through, which is just absolutely genius. So this isn't quite that kind of system, but this is in a way that it's kind of, even with these big spread out body mount points in the car, the body can still, it's still got flex in the mounts, which most cars do, and the body can still move around and stuff, and especially the sides like to do this going down the track. So if you were to, Velcro this and Velcro this, you could put a little Velcro on the inside of the body at the same point, and boom, and every time you put the body in, put your clips in, you just go on the sides, and it's kind of nice. I might even, maybe I'll use the extra set on my Bullet or something. Car's going to be rigid. The car's got an aluminum chassis, I believe made out of 6061. It is a race-proven design. It's not of the format of like a 2250 Elite or something like that. It is a rear motor car, which is, it's older technology. I mean, let's face it, the first RC cars that were serious hobby grade cars would have been the RC10. And a rear motor car is just kind of advanced enhancement on technology of that old technology is pretty much all it is. A slash, that's all it is. It's just a cheaper plastic rear motor version of an RC10. It is rear motor. I love the way it's slung. I like the way it sits. Just the geometry and the suspension, the A-arms, the way the A-arms in the back are swept back and the axles are back. They're trying to get that 15. Let's actually look at that. Let's look at the actual wheelbase out of the box. So, wow. That might be a problem. Tell me what
Too short?
Tell me what the center to center wheelbase is on that.
13.
13, okay. Yeah, so it's right on the money then.
What'd you think it was?
What do you think about the stance and stuff?
I like the way it sits.
I love the way it
really
sits.
do.
It just looks like a race car out of the box. I can't speak as far as these being titanium rods. We could probably read the box and let's read the box and find that out. But these rods are of a mill shape that is coherent with being like a Lunsford rod. I don't know if that's what they are, but they maybe they're just steel rods. Could have fooled me though. So really cool car. The tires feel good. They're soft. I don't know what's in them. They come pre-glued, so I'm sure when I blow the first one out, we'll find out what's actually in them. Maybe I'll see if Jake can find out, or if again the box tells us. You know, we only know so much about what's inside of stuff without taking it apart. But some stuff we can't take apart, like a glued tire. This is a brand new car. I'm not going to cut the tire open. So let's start by taking the rear wheels off. If you could fold this old towel in half and then put the cleanest side up over here so I can just lay out the parts I take off. Returners watching, Brandon Small, Paul Peterson, what's up, Remy? Clay Ketis is in the house. John Bunger. All kinds of people watching. So, okay, so let's
Clean set, yeah.
that is perfect, bro. Yeah, why don't you take that and you can scan questions if they come up while I'm building here. Les, you want to build? You want to build? You want to take it apart?
I'll take something apart.
Oh, I'll take something apart, all right. Okay, so the wheels look strong as hell. They got some nice, big, thick spining in the back. The cam looks like it got hit. Is it still looking good in there? You good?
You're looking
Can
good.
you see the table right here really good?
Yeah, I can see the table.
I definitely dig the wheels, dude. I hope that Horizon Hobbies wants to offer these wheels so people can run them. I think they're a really good wheel. They're thick. I mean, I'm not sure of the composite compound makeup of the actual plastic. We'll find out when we run it. But yeah, that's a good looking wheel. It looks like the old Krager drag lights. Krager didn't make drag lights. Who made drag lights?
American Racing.
I don't know, but I used to have a pair of these on one of my Mustangs, and they're really good looking wheels, especially when they're all polished up in the sun. So, transmission feels, it's got a little hard spot in it. It's nice and free, and then boom. I think it might be the gear case, but you know what? In a real life application, we're not going to run that son of a gun anyway, so let's just go ahead and start by ripping it off. I'm not going to run it. I have no kind of idea what kind of spur gears on here or anything. Okay. So we got a standard hex slipper clutch double-plated slipper clutch. We got a 48 pitch gear. It looks like it's a pretty big one. I want to say it's an 81. It looks like an 81, but let's see if that. It's still got a little bind in the trinity. Feel that? So see that?
Oh yeah.
There's something going on there. Well, we're gonna find out. That's why we're taking it apart.
Yeah, it
tonight.
doesn't feel smooth.
So let's start by taking this guy off. Oh, those are some long screws or what? They're going through a bunch of plastic. I really like the car.
Weld wheels.
Weld wheels?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, welds, yeah. So the shocks on it, even though they're plastic and they are very much like a traxxas shock in the way that they use the half horseshoe, different size adjusters to put preload in the spring. They have a bleeder, a screwed bleeder that's built into the head, and they're like big bore shocks. They're super big. So does it sound better when I'm like, dude, the shocks are like super big? So we got long screws holding the body mount in. That is obviously going through a bunch of plastic. So what do we got next here? It looks like we need to take these off. Let's take this mother apart. Okay, and I'm gonna need you. There's some big screws up here. Oh, those aren't screws. My eyes are playing tricks with me, dude. Okay, that's much better. So let's start by taking these guys off and everything up. That's a 1.5. God, I can't wait to get into the new place, dude. The lighting in here just... I'm sorry, it sucks.
Well, I'll try to do better.
No, that's not what I meant. I didn't say you suck. I would never say that.
I didn't think you said that either. I just said that. Never mind. Drop it.
So let's see. We're going to try and take the transmission out of it as fast and as smooth as possible. Okay, so let's flip this thing over. And it looks like we're just going to take all the screws out. What the hell was that? Excuse me, sir. Your music sucks. I don't know what that was. And most people be like, why are you using an electric screwdriver? Dude, it's taken for it. Well, you know what? If that's what you want to do with your brand new kit, that's fine. Make a video. I'm doing mine by hand. They call me the electric screwdriver. So these are some big screws too. These are, yeah. They're going through the chassis, through the back block, A-arm block, kingpin block, and into the tranny. So we'll make that little pile there. I think I have to take that off. Aha. There's a screw right there. I think. Oh, is that one behind? I don't know. Let's start taking it off. And I don't have the right. It should be right there on top.
Here?
Yeah, it's smaller than the wheel nut. Well, I don't like that about it. Next one down. Maybe I can replace that. I like the fact that, God, I think all the cars have the same nut on the slipper that they do on the wheel.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. I don't like having to grab
One more tool.
Yeah, one more tool. So here's what, if you want to come over here, here's what the slipper clutch looks like. Oh, it's got some new material that I've never seen before that's serrated. It's ribbed. There's little dots in it. Wow, feel that, dude. That's odd.
Oh, wow,
The
that's heavy.
slipper plates appear to be mild steel and are extremely heavy. Wow, what the heck's up with that? Those are heavy. Those are mass produced. So, then it looks like we got a spacer here. The spacer that's in the transmission here. So I'm going to pull that guy out. Let's not forget to put him back in. Yeah, see, these are the bolt. I knew there was some hidden screws back here. Just by looking at the other half of the assembly and looking at how it's put together. So it looks like just a regular 10mm. This is going to be one long screw. This goes all the way through the tranny. Can I do that? No, not for very long. Dang, Gina. So we have the 3,000mm screw there. So we're going to put that in an order that I'll remember. And then it looks like I got one more screw down here that holds the motor plate on. So the motor plate can actually be taken off in the car. Oh, no. Nope, there's one more. This is probably just a pin down one, so it's probably not very long. So what I'm going to do, because they're all different sizes to remember, is I'm going to put all these screws exactly where they came from. And you know what? I take that back. There's that one long one, and then there's 3 10mm. So they're all the same except for that long one. And here's the bolt pattern. That one, that one, that one, and that one. So 4 screws hold on the motor plate. Motor plate's nothing fancy. It's just a stamped piece of aluminum. It's anodized black. They kept it simple. Yeah, there's something I want to get a hold of in that transmission. So it looks like I got 2 screws right here holding the top of the case to the rear shock tower. So let's drop those. Can you find me a 2.0 in there that's got the roundy ball head on it?
Yeah.
So I can duck around the corner here. Car doesn't feel very heavy at all.
Too low, yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, and this guy just popped off. So I'm glad I didn't take any of these bolts out. This is the motor guard is integrated with the wheelie bar that is also integrated through via this little roll cage here up to the rear shock tower. So they've gotten this triangulation thing down. They made it. It's a very, very, very stiff assembly. And at that point, I believe that the transmission, I think it's a layback. I think that's what the guys would call it. So let's take this out. Now, you have your standard Losi. Losis have nice axles in them. They got the big CV cup in here that the pin from it is captured by actually fitting into the bearing. The bearing is actually the keeper of the pin. And it's a solid design. I'm not going to take this off. You can see it's put together like a Losi car. You got a caster block in the rear, and you got a front one in the front. Or not a caster block, but an anti-squat blocks in it. Not sure. It doesn't have a whole lot of anti-squat, which I'm sure Mark would probably love to know about. From what I can see looking in, it doesn't look like it has maybe a half a degree or a quarter a degree at the most. And toe in, I want to say is probably a degree on each side. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Maybe like 1.5 on each side. I don't know. We'll have to put it up on some setup table when we're all done. But this is what the car looks like with the transmission out. Again, I just love the design, dude. I just think that the way they put it all together was pretty cool. So let's set the car. You know, there's nothing else really much to see about the car. You got your standard bell crank steering system, dual bell crank with a center link. It is just a standard front end. I mean, it's, you know, you got your camber rods, you got your, you know, your traditional shock tower and traditional shock placement, and you know what the thing is? I think I got some metal parts that I didn't use that'll work awesome on this from my other Losi. Car looks very durable. Not a car I'd want to get hit in the ankle with. Yeah, it's definitely a very durable looking car. So let's put this aside, and if you could, right behind you, Rich, grab me one of behind the gray box there. Grab me one of those yellow towels. Yeah, we'll rip the transmission apart on that. Okay, so the transmission with some of those long screws should be pretty close to coming apart, because a lot of them were holding the case together. It looks like I got 3 more to take apart. Oh, I can still feel it. So now we've eliminated the axles, we've eliminated the dust cover and the slipper assembly, and it almost feels like there's something funky. So it's nice and free. The tranny feels good except for this one spot. It's nice and free, and then boom, it hits that little gritty spot. So we'll look with the old binoculars here and see what we can see inside. So let's remove these last 3 screws that this thing's got. It's a badass looking little car, huh?
It is.
I bet it flies. The tires don't feel half bad. I don't think they're 70-mile-an-hour tires. I think they're soft enough. They're gonna balloon like crazy.
That front's got some pretty stiff sidewall though.
The front tire?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You don't want too soft.
You don't want it rolling over on you.
Hopefully these are all the same size. 2 out of 3 are. Here we go. Now, this is what I was talking about, what this car is going to have out of the box that the DR10 didn't, if I think I'm right of what's in here. If not, I'm going to be really pissed. So yeah, so the last 3 screws in the tranny are all the same size. They look like they're probably 14 mil, something like that. So, oh, here's a little piece that I didn't know it was on there. So this must be part of the bracketry system that clamps the chassis and everything together. We'll call that the tranny cup. I don't know what.
It's probably your standoff too, to get your motor up off it.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to say as a layback, I don't know if the guys, you know, in off-road or whatever consider this a layback, but this is it's really similar to like an old associated stealth transmission. So let's pop it open. Let's see what's in it. It is. Thank you, Horizon Hobbies. So this is what I was talking about, guys. This thing has full metal gears in it. Okay. Here's the idler. Here's the diff. And the top shaft. So it is a 2-piece steel gear on hardened steel shaft. I'm hoping it's a hardened steel shaft with as small as it gets out here. But it looks like it doesn't just, the top gear doesn't just slide in over a pin to lock it in place and it just kind of stays there. They actually have an E-clip in there holding the assembly together, which is kind of nice. Can you see that in the camera?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because I actually had a stiff spot in my brand new transmission, I'm actually going to look at it and see if I can see anything. Well, this thing looks fine. So let's look at the idler. Because you know what? For what I paid for this car, if I don't find any imperfections in the gears, I'm going to send it. We're going to stick 80,000 RPMs right up the back door of this thing. Yeah, this is good. So awesome that Horizon Hobbies thought it out enough to think, you know what, dude, let's just put full metal gears in this thing. I need another rag. But a rag, yeah, that'll work. Thanks, sir. Mm-hmm. So the diff is a 4-screw O-ring. Actually, being a Losi, it's probably a gasket. It's a gear diff. Feels very smooth, and it's definitely got thick oil in it already, dude. I'm not even going to take this thing apart.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, here, turn it. Right about where you want a diff, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Heavy resistant, still turnable and smooth. So, nice. That's really awesome. Now, I do not think this is pot metal, but my professional eye tells me it's also not CNC'd. So there's some kind of casting, but it's definitely a magnet. Right there on the side of the red box, there's all kind of, see that? Yeah. Let's see if it's got any iron in it. Oh yeah, it's steel. You got a steel diff. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's all steel. So this is a complete steel. The diff, I will say, is a little bit heavy, but it's a full steel diff, and that's just going to be nature of the beast. So let me wipe off that little thing I just got on it. And let me inspect this real quick. Well, the good news is the gear looks good. The bad news is whoever lubed it was drunk this day. Got a little flathead.
You need a flathead?
Yeah. Yeah, solid unit. It's got your standard black sealed ball bearings in it. Yeah, that'll work. That's perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take their grease, because when I run this car first time, I want to use all their stuff. There was absolutely no reason for me to take this thing apart. It's a brand new car. The only reason why we're taking it apart is just to be able to show it off on the show, and so everybody, before they buy one or call Jake's Performance Hobbies to get one, they'll be able to know exactly what they're getting. Give me a little lube of the red, dude. There's just not a whole lot of grease in it. I don't want to put a whole lot in it, but I just want a little, because it is my car and I'm going to lean on it. I'm not going to be, this isn't a ready to run. I'm going to just put a little bit more in it. Just a little dab of red.
Good.
We're good. Okay. So, let's put this diff back in. Just break it in by hand first. Get that grease. Never, ever, ever want to grease a brand new build in any kind of transmission and put it all together, and the first time you turn it on, or the first time it's ever turned, is when you turn the car on and just go wing at full throttle, because that first couple rotations at that kind of RPM and torque, it'll just throw the grease off of it. So you always want to, whether you hook it up to a drill and let it run for 5 minutes or turn it by hand, you always want to get your grease pattern over the gears at a low speed. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So cool. This is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted to find from Losi when I opened this thing up. Full metal steel gears. The diff is already... So whether you're running traxxas car or Losi car, associated car, whatever kind of car, what do we need? We need preferably all metal gears. I've been lucky and I haven't had a problem with my plastic one in the diff gear, plastic diff gear of my Corleone yet. But I think that's because it's so wide. But we want at least the idler metal, and we want a gear diff. So I didn't even bother running my Corleone when I made it because I knew it had a ball diff, and I knew my 3 and 3/5 turn motors were going to do it a ball diff. So it's got the gear diff in it, and you don't have to open it up and take it apart to put thicker fluid in it because the company just put grease. It's already got it. It's already filled up with thick fluid. So this transmission, when you get it out of the box, whether in ready to run or roller form, is ready to rock. So you know what we're going to do is we're going to put this thing on a drill for 10 minutes and see if we can get that little spot to go away. We're going to put one there. And we're going to put one there. No, right here. No, that's not it either. That was here. Hey, I have never taken one of these apart either, okay?
Not judging.
Well, you were thinking about it. So, what do you think? Should we pop some shocks off of it, Rich?
Yeah, we can do that.
Why don't I leave this out and I'll work on the tranny, and you can pop the shocks off and we'll disassemble them. The one thing that I noticed with the car out of the package, the front might be okay to leave for now if you just wanted to get it to the track or run it. But I think that the one change in the car that the car's got to have made is it needs thicker fluid in the back. I think the fluid in the back is a little bit too light. Feels like it's got 20 in it. So what I'm going to do is let you ladies and gentlemen look at that fine transmission for a second. And here is the motor plate. Which, the only thing that sucks about the motor plate is kind of what I've seen in like the DR10 with their blue motor plate, and the new motor plate by the blue one with the Gen 2 Proline transmission. Is it seems like, remember the first Gen 1 and it had all the milled, polished lines in it and stuff, and it was serrated, it was a little thicker. It seems like they're getting really cheap these days with the motor mounts. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the ready-to-run kits. So I would like this thing probably another millimeter or two thicker. It looks like it will have a lot of adjustability for different pinions, for a variety of range of pistons. And that's a good thing, because I know my Team Losi 5.0, when I changed some gears out on it and tried different things, you could only move the motor so much. We ended up having to take the motor plate off and mill in the two motor screws and the bearing hole to the motor over, 1/8 of an inch, because it's just not enough room there. So Rich is going to get some shocks. I'm preparing some stuff. We're going to throw some different fluid in it when we put it back together. Let's see what we got in the old shock fluid drawer. That might be better. 60, 70. We're going to go with this. So we'll take this. And we'll take this. And we'll take this. And a quick clamp. How fast is that? Clamp. That's pretty quick. Look, quick
I
clamp.
didn't see it.
So this is a good thing to have in the hobbies. You guys can get these at your local hardware stores, and it's just a quick clamp, and you wouldn't want to put your finger in there because they're a lot stronger than you think they are. So I use these sometimes. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to chuck this tranny in here. I'm going to let it work a little bit. If I just set it down, just let it run for a minute. Okay, so what do we got here, Rich? Shocks.
Rear shock.
Rear shocks. They look pretty awesome. Did you feel that?
I did.
It just feels like it's
way too soft.
I have down there somewhere a crappy rag or something we can dump onto. Let's go ahead. These have the same, yeah. So the shocks come set up symmetrical. This is what the shock looks like. So it's like a traxxas shock in the way that it's plastic. It's not like a traxxas shock in the way that the shock itself seems a lot more sturdier than a traxxas shock. And it has a much bigger volumed body, so you'll be able to hold more oil in it. And it's also, like I said, it's got the screw there for bleeding. So let's go ahead and crack one of these apart. Hey, look at that, stuff's like water. Look at that.
Oh
Yeah. That's not gonna work for me, so I'm gonna
try to
work this out. And we're just gonna leave this here for a second, kind of at an angle to drain. And then we will take this one apart. I'm gonna split the spring in the cup. There we go. These are firm. Well,
Yeah.
at least, no, you know what it was? They were under such a heavy preload. So yeah, maybe in the future I might do some testing with this car. I won't when I first put it out there. Just to see if I can use less preload and a heavier spring rate, because once I have the spring off, it feels like it's like maybe a 5-pound rate. Somewhere in there.
They don't give you other wedge adjustment other than what's on the car.
Okay, so other than what's on the car, you don't, unlike a traxxas car, you don't get a bunch of different ones, which sucks because if you need more, you're kind of screwed because these are really big.
But it also had a lot of spring preload on it to come out of the package like that, so you're going to be taking those out, it looks like, anyway.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that in the camera.
You can. I watched it.
I mean, it's like
really thin.
It's like water.
Yeah.
So yeah, Horizon, a little bit thicker fluid in the rear. That's fine for the front.
Yeah.
I think in the front of the Corleone I have like 32.5 in it, so it's pretty light. But in the back I have like 80, you know. So let's give it a little bit more and then we'll shut this off.
You know how Losi regulates their spring rate? Do they do it by color?
Can't remember. I'd have to look in my parts box. So what I'm doing now is we're getting ready to put it back together with different fluid. And we're going to take the bleeders out. So that we can bleed the shock properly when we put it all back together. I can leave that right there. Let's shut this off. Let's see what happened here. It's still got something going on with it. That's odd. Yeah, feel that. That's really odd. Something just doesn't feel right in that thing. That's exactly how it was before he took it apart.
Right there. It's almost like...
Ain't nothing a 3-turn can't handle.
It's almost like the gear is not centered. The hole is not centered in the side of the gear. Like it's walking around.
Oh, yeah.
That's almost what it feels like.
So what would that
maybe
be?
The idler, because it feels like it doesn't do one full rotation. It takes to get around to the other spot.
Well, here, I got an idea. I got like some brand new Losi idlers. Let's see if that's the problem. I have another project going that I bought a couple idlers for. Now, Grant, this is a totally non-biased review of this car. I'm not weighing in on whether it's good or it's bad. I will say that my personal opinion is that I like it very much. I think it's a really cool car. But I'm also, if I see anything wrong with anything, I'm also going to tell that to people, and that's the point of my show. A lot of people have told me that over the last couple of years is, man, I really like your show because it's just kind of a no-nonsense. If there's some bullshit, you're going to call it out. I'm not saying it's bullshit. This is a great car. And I bet you if I put a motor in this thing, even a 13.5, and ran it for 5 or 6 passes, it would probably smooth up.
But you have to understand, too, manufacturing flaws happen all the time, not just this sport.
So let me see the idler gear real quick. Could be the top shaft gear. I think it's the idler.
I don't know. We'll start with that.
Well, I have some idlers here. Please come out. I don't want to use a bearing puller. Yeah, those aren't coming out. Okay, so hey, move the Losi stuff and peel up the first patch of tools. Yep, peel it all up, and then there's bearing cases in there. Yeah, I'll show you a bunch of them here. So let's see even better because we're just gonna keep the.
Those ones you need?
We're gonna keep the stock bearings. Are these them? I think these are them. So let's open up this one. And let's just see if this gets rid of the problem. If not, then we're going to put it back together and we're going to send it. Okay, so oh, these are not the same bearings. Okay then. Well, that sucks. Let's see if we can find the right bearings.
There's a bunch of bearings here too.
This is it. Yep, that's it. Okay, so now we have another idler that is Losi, but this one is actually a CNC machine. This is their hardened one. So let's stuff that in there and see if that made a difference. And what I'm talking about, guys, is 80 or 90% of the revolution of, say, the diff, the biggest part of the tranny, is nice and smooth, but it gets to this one little area where it's like, and it's kind of gritty in there, like it's got a bad tooth, but it doesn't. The teeth are all fine. Is it gone?
I think so.
Let me see.
We'll put the screws in, these 3 screws in and feel it.
It feels a lot better.
A lot better. Huh?
Yeah.
The mesh or something with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't work. I mean, if you ran the thing, it'd probably...
No, because they're going to wear in together, you know, and being all steel, you know, you don't run the risk of having like an aluminum idler with a steel diff. No. But yeah, it's...
This is just one of those things that we see because we're building these high.
Yeah, I have a really high tolerance for catching stuff like that.
No, you have a low tolerance.
A low tolerance, sorry.
Low tolerance.
And
high visibility factor.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with this idler other than it just feels a little funky. So just because I have the parts already, I'm just going to go ahead. I want to take this car back apart, and with all the way that it's built, there's no reason why I should have to. So I don't know what's going on with this idler, but we have removed the stock Losi idler and put in a Losi hardened one, and that is... What is the same part number? So Losi part number is LOS232042. This is not the idler that people are trying to get that have been out of stock for months and months and months for the bigger ones. The ones in the 5.0 Elite and stuff, they're big idler gears and they're aluminum. This is almost like a I don't know, what are they, 51 tooth stealth, internal one. So
okay.
This is the smaller one. This is what you can get. I think that not X-Ray, but not Mugen. But a lot of the guys are using a lot of transmission parts, I think, in Associateds or something like that are made by or maybe Serpent. I think maybe it's Serpent. But I don't know. I bought this idler for another project, and I have two of them. So it is Losi part number LOS Larry Ocean Sam 232042. Larry Ocean Sam 232042. And it says idler gear and shaft 22S. So, feel better?
Yeah, it's still there a little bit.
We got rid of 80% of it.
It's not totally the idler. I think it's part of the diff too.
So we're going to go ahead and let's move on. Let's finish our shocks. Yeah, and whether I run this car or Emma runs this car or I, end up raffling the car off for St. Jude's or something, I don't know. It definitely, I want it to be right, and not saying it wasn't right out of the package. It's fine. I think that, like I said, my humble opinion is that it'll probably wear itself in after a hit or two.
Right the way it is.
But I'm a perfectionist, so I wanted to. Oh, that's 100 times better, dude.
Still got a little spot.
Well, you're also dealing with backlash and no weight.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a load of wheel spinning or something.
I guarantee you throw that on there before you put a wheel motor on there and spin that. It'll spin for a little bit now.
Yeah, let's break it in. And then we're gonna build some shocks. Come on, you mother trucker. Hey, you know what? You want to hold that for me for a minute?
Yeah. Here, hold this.
Thanks, bro.
Here, hold this.
Okay, so it looks like we have 2-hole pistons in the shock. I do believe that there's a limiter in there. I could be wrong. It's not much of one if there is. The shock, like I said, feels put together very well. It's very sturdy. It's super silky smooth. So they nailed the shocks. I'm just going to put... Now, on the kit that comes as a ready to run, if that's how you're going to run it, you don't have to do any of this. They've designed this car from Horizon Hobbies just to open it up, charge it, turn it on, and go. I, however, bought a roller, and what I was waiting for... At first, I wanted the ready to run, but then I was like, I don't want the electronics anyway, because I want to make a heavy-hitting car out of it. So, the two things I wanted to do was take apart the transmission so everybody could see it, and that's when we found the gear. And I wanted to change the fluid in the back, and I wanted to have everybody see how the shocks were made and what you're dealing with here. And so I'm going to fill this up almost to the top, and I'm going to work my air bubbles out really slowly. I don't know what that is flying around in here, but hey,
You got something to put.
I'll teach him. Oh, you're back. There it is. Not anymore. Okay. Still have all kinds of air in here. These shocks take quite a bit of oil. So what I'm doing is when I emptied it out, there was an air cavity between the piston and the bottom of the shock. And what I'm trying to do is just work all those air bubbles out from underneath. So I'm going up and down slowly while twisting, moving the whole pattern in the shock. And I think all the air's out of it. So now I'm going to fill it to the top, right to the brimmy brim. It's an O-ring seal. Come on. This thing's got some really fine threads on the shop. Oh, that's not it. Oh, this is not going back together for me. I'm not having a good time. When all else fails, try a different part. Here, you try that. I can't seem to get it back together. Watch out, it's full to the brim. I cannot get the son of a gun to go back together. My eyes are really bad. I have like no light in here, guys. A lot of the light that you see me working under right now is a flashlight we have pointed on us. The whole shop is torn apart. Let's get all those air bubbles out. Oh, there's some major air in this shop. Okay. Thank you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my screw ready. And I'm going to push up until I see the air leave. And now with it completely collapsed, I'm going to put my screw in. That's feel pretty good. Those are son of a bitch, huh?
Yeah.
The thread is so fine. I mean, on like a traxxas I keep saying traxxas because traxxas is the only other company I know that has a bunch of plastic shocks. And there's like maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 threads on it. They're really, really coarse. And this one's got like 15 threads on it, and it's super fine thread. Okay, so our shock has been bled. It's reassembled. Let's go ahead and throw it back together. Thank you. Oh, did it just die? Or did it fall off? It's probably fine. We can leave it off now.
That was the timer just clicked it off.
So, you know what? I think that Look at that.
Differently.
No, bottoms are perfectly square, and then look at the tops. Look at the top of that one.
Oh, huh.
That's bent over funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
Here,
Okay.
tweak it back.
You know what it is? I think these shock springs are different widths at either end. Okay. Let's bleed this guy. Yep. Yeah, the shocks are really smooth. This one is. That one, see, the spring seems to be hitting the body a little bit. Which, if that is the case, the spring will have to get changed out. Yeah?
They had it on the inside shock, bottom shock hole.
You don't
Should I
remember
put
the
it on
shock
the
was in?
outside?
What do you mean?
They had it on the inside. Should I put it here?
No, because that'll make the car even lower. The car's already pretty low.
Okay.
Put it on the highest setting. Whatever one stands the back of the car up a little bit more. I think it must have been the inside one. Yeah, this shock is glass, so this thing is just perfect. Here, switch me shocks real quick. Because this one feels like she's hitting on the body a little bit. Which is kind of odd. Spring doesn't seem to be bent. Huh. Alright, I want to move along, but I keep getting hung up on little stuff because I'm just a perfectionist. Yeah, sure as shit. The spring is hitting the shock body. You can see it clear as day. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. So all in all, compared to the DR10, I found a lot more flaws with this thing. I mean, a lot less flaws with this. As far as having all metal gears, yeah, I chose to change one out, even though the car's brand new. Something just didn't feel right about it. And again, I reiterate, you don't have to do this at home when you get one of these. Just run the thing; it'll break in. Sometimes I go overboard with my perfectionism, and I like to make sure everything's perfect, which a lot of us do, So the only other thing I could find wrong with the car is upon putting the spring back on the shock, no matter where I position it or which way I put the spring on, it just seems like this spring is rubbing on the side of the shock body. So I've taken it apart 3 or 4 times now to try and reposition stuff. Yeah, see, that one fits nice. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, it still wants to hit the shock body. Well, it's not quite as bad as it was, but so we're gonna throw this thing back together. I'm actually gonna keep the oil itself stiffened it up just a little bit, if that makes sense. So we're gonna. Oh, you're hitting your phone, dude.
Huh.
I don't know what you did to it. But we got these. We got all these. I'm gonna put these in a one of my little chew containers and mark them Losi shocks. And that way, when I do go out to wedge this thing or whatever I need to do to it, or play with the ride height, they'll be able to do that. So, I think we're just about ready for the transmission. Here's the other. Let me take a look here and see if anybody's. You have to hold your mouth right. What? Dan Aguada says, "Happy Mother's Day to all of our moms." Yes, tomorrow is yes, Nestor Torres. It does have a gear diff. The trustiest guy's like, there's the trusty mag glass. This thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, if there's any kind of bullshit in the world, you just look at it through this, and it automatically tells you exactly where the problem is. Scott Eckhart said, "Love the shirt." He's in Nebraska, it looks like. I don't want to murder this guy's last name. Chris Hafazula. What's up, brother? Brandon Small. Uli's watching. What's up, Uli? Rick Turner. Tony Purvis. Yeah, we're getting back up. So, you want to hand me the tranny really quick? I know you're frivolously working over there, but I can be putting the tranny back together. Is it still in the drilling mechanism? Mm-hmm. So let's feel the tranny now. Oh yeah, I can at least get it to spin on its own now. Cool. That's nice. Very nice and spicy. Slicey. It's slicey. So we are gonna put this guy back together. I don't know if Losi was getting cheap on the clutch discs by just putting really heavy metal washers in the kit, or if there was centrifugally something they were trying to achieve with that. And what I mean by is back in the 70s, when Ford and Chevy guys started racing the Vega and the Monzas, I'm sorry, the Vega, the Monza, little cars like the Pinto, the Maverick, they would use, of course back then everybody had manuals. Right. And the drag racers would use the heaviest steel flywheel that they could possibly imagine. And that was always foreign to me because I came from a road race world where we run, aluminum, really high, quick revving flywheels.
That's rotating mass.
But they want rotating mass, keeping those revs up so that when they engage the clutch, it really let the car roll out. Unfortunately, this is a little bit different of a clutch setup than that would. So I don't know. I think it was probably just a manufacturing call. Let's make them out of stamped steel. It's something I've never seen before in a kit. They're always aluminum.
Are they?
Yeah, the slipper discs on Associated Losi, they're all aluminum.
You sure some of them aren't steel? I'm
pretty sure. And the ones I've
really
seen.
Thin?
No. Okay. Anything Associated Losi's got an aluminum one.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure this will be able to
I don't know where this
upgrade this. If your little heart desires. What are you looking for?
There's a hex pin.
You lost my hex pin.
I had to put your axle back together.
Smooth move, bro.
You messing with it? So
are the wheel hexes plastic?
Yes.
They are. Okay, so the 12 millimeter hexes on the wheels are plastic. That's good to know.
They are. Which is fine. I've done plastic for a long time. I still have plastic love in every remote.
Okay, we're going to put our spacer back in. Another cool thing is the top shaft has like almost next to no wiggle in it. I mean, it's a nice stiff case. But we're going to go ahead and put this thing back together. So there's one. There's two. And we're going to put the spring on it. Oh, this one. Yeah, it's still got a little something going in the tranny, but it's definitely not as bad as it was. So, outdrives look stout. Trans case is definitely a nice piece. We're gonna put this little tranny cut back on it, and I don't remember. You know what I just did? What an idiot. Such an idiot. I just put the slipper clutch and gear and everything back on without putting that one long screw through. So, I guess we're taking it back apart again. Hey, this is the first time I ever put one of these together, alright? And I don't have an instruction manual.
Where is it? In the garbage.
Okay, so let's put this guy back on. And what I mean by you have to do that, let's get rid of that, is this standoff right here and this little tiny one right here is one of these standoffs in between the motor plate and the transmission case. So that goes in there, and then this is going to go and capture it all together. Yep.
Weird, man. I don't know what happened to that pin.
Oh, we gotta find that motor trucker. Did the other one just fall out?
No. Same one.
Watch out, because if the axle isn't in the bearing, the other pin will come out. Yeah. Come on, bro. What's a pin between buddies? We'll find it. It's here somewhere.
I'm sure you've got some. Somewhere.
I do.
I say.
This is like the longest screw I've ever seen on a 110 scale vehicle. It's huge. It's bigger than anybody's screw. It's crazy what we're doing with screws. We're making screws bigger than anybody. Well, that didn't work out. It didn't go through the whole thing. There we go. I want to make sure it goes back together right, so even if I got to turn around at a step or two. Now we can put these back on. It isn't the fact that they're steel that is concerning me. It's the finish on them. Feel one. I mean, they're so smooth that I almost feel like I should rough up the insides of where they rub on the plate. You know.
Let's see what it does.
Yeah. I got a feeling we're going to be doing some slipper clutch work to this thing. All in all, though, top-notch build, dude. I mean, for $200, you're not going to find a nicer car. You're just really not. So, hey, that's another thing, too. I've noticed that these were on... Of course, I'm going to buy mine, and I was lucky that my hobby shop, my local hobby shop, Jake's got theirs in first. But even on eBay, they've been on pre-order for $219.99 for the last 2 months. Boom, I walk into Jake's, $199. So right off the bat, Jake's is $20 cheaper, you know? So this rear assembly is back together. We can go ahead and throw it back on the car, I think.
I need to find that pin so we can put that back
Yeah,
in
why
so
don't
the
you
axle
do
doesn't
that?
keep
Oh yeah,
coming
we
out.
need the axle back in it though.
Well, it's in it.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah,
The
it could be
axle's
because it's
in
on
it.
the outside.
It's just it'll pop out if you're not careful.
So I'm going to put I can't see a goddamn thing over here. Oh, that's what happened. And that one in, and this one in, and then the rear block. Okay, hold on, let go. Okay. We're back together. Kinda. I'm gonna start these first, which are gonna be these ones. And this one are the two long ones. And then the very end of the car has the very short ones. Now, always with the tranny, guys, I like to get all the screws, transmission it's to say, I like to get all the screws started back in it before I do any tightening. And this needs to get popped into place. There we go. Oh, that's what I'm missing. That fell off, didn't it? The transmission cup. Give me this. Oh no, it's in there. Okay. Just making sure. I never put one of these together before. I don't want to have to put it all together and then take it all apart. Again. Hey. Cool it, buddy. Cool car though. This has a little sticker on the bottom that says quality control passed. I'd like to talk to the guy that built this and say, hey, did you happen to look at the transmission? Did you look at the transmission? No, the transmission was just fine in the car. Again, I'm just a perfectionist and I swapped it out for a hardened idler. I'm stoked to run this car. Why don't you open that package with all the stuff in it, and let's show them the motor or the battery mounting, because that's kind of unique. Front and rear shock towers are both plastic. It's a very plasticky car, but it's a cheap car kit. I mean, what do you expect, you know? But I will say this: for a plastic car, there's next to no play in anything. This car is pretty darn. It's a Losi. I mean, it's got great tolerances. So it's just me, or is it just hotter than a crack pipe on payday in here?
It's starting to cool off, but it was pretty warm.
We're gonna get these bulkhead bolts in. All in all, a pretty easy car to work on. And then there's two that go in the top of the transmission, which we need to put in. Two of the same wrenches. Dude, you missed it. I was working double wrenchies, homie.
Yeah, I was busy.
Okay. Super cool car, dude. I like the design of it. Countersinking is nice. Now this is, you know, that's another good thing. Okay, so it is an aluminum chassis, but the finish on it almost kind of looks like a finish they had put on a steel. Bless you.
Thank you.
I give you 2 blessings. The third time you got to get your shit together. It is an aluminum chassis. It's not a milled aluminum chassis like you'd find on a 5.0 Elite or something. It's just a stamped piece of sheet metal, broken on either side. It's got a break in it on either side. So she is back together. Yeah, you know what it is? Is I was looking up here. It does have some anti-squat, maybe a half a degree. But it looks like the anti-squat might be built into the arm. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna run it. So why don't you show them about that, Rich?
What, did it clips on here?
Yeah.
I don't know how these work. I don't have one.
You just clip it on. You put your battery in.
Voila. There you go. That wasn't so hard, guys.
So, I like, for a cheaper beginner wheelie bar, it's cool. In my personal, so we got, oh, that's kind of cool. So it has plastic wheelie bar wheels, but there's bearings in them, and I think this one's too tight because it's really stiff. There we go. So the wheelie bar wheels are plastic, but they are they're bearings, so they're very accurate. They're not just like the cheaper plastic ones from Traxxas. Do we ever find that pin?
No. I did not find it. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it fell out.
Well, there's that. Let's start by moving everything.
I've moved everything already 3 times.
I want to get the wheel back on it. Once it's on the floor. Yeah, you're not gonna find it. Okay, so hey, back underneath that same tool organizer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Just keep it where it's at. You see up there towards the far end, the little yeah, those. One of those should have a bunch of pins in it. So yeah, this thing looks pretty wicked, dude. I like the way it sits. Dog bones don't seem to be super true. They have a little wiggle in them. But that's okay. That won't matter. All in all, this is a super cool car. So here's the other pin if you want to match it up. Here you go.
Don't have any here. Oh. Nope.
Cover the micrometer.
I can tell just by looking at it, it's not right.
No, it's not. You know what? That might be the right pin. God, the lighting in here just sucks, dude. Alright, Yeah, it's too fat. Which one's the original one?
This one.
Okay. And I think it could be a little longer. It doesn't have to be as short. How about this one? Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the mic, dude. To the gray box, all the way to the right. All the way to the right in the top. Top. Yep. I can feel.
It sit by itself.
I can feel the difference in these pins. Okay, so we are looking for.
I don't know.
61 thousandths. By 10 millimeter. 60 thousandths. Yeah, so that's 80 thousandths, so you can't find a pin in there.
They all look too big. I mean, they have these skinny ones, but those are not right. I think they're too long.
Yeah, these are all 80. Like this one. 80. And 80 won't fit in there. I don't know. I didn't see how much. No, an 80 is not going to fit in there. No. Great, you broke my brand new car. And we didn't even run it. Is that one of the ones with the notches in it, though?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. It was like I didn't do anything to it. I just picked it up.
No, this will work. This is perfect, dude. Boom, 61 thousandths. Hey. We missed. Okay, so let's get this thing back on track and get the wheels back on it. What are your overall thoughts from what you've seen, Rich?
I think it's a very well put together car. A lot of thought went into it. Solid foundation. It looks durable. It looks really tough. And they have upgraded aluminum parts for it too.
Do they?
Yeah. The whole sheet.
Cool. I can't see a damn thing over here. I'm just blind, dude. I think my eyes are getting worse and worse and worse. You know what?
Yeah, mine are the same way.
This pin is the right diameter, but
Too long.
it's 1 millimeter too long. So let's put this side together, and I'll have to grind a freaking... I think in my Losi ones I probably have the right one, but I'm not going to break all that stuff out right now. That's just too much work. So, we got any questions though? Anybody, anything we didn't cover, anybody wants me to check out real quick for them? Yeah, you could put, I mean, this has got a huge slot for the motor and the motor screws to move. You can do whatever you want on this thing. Cool. Yeah, the tires and wheels I dig. Car, like I said, is super low slung to the ground. That's the tranny. I'd have to say there's the consistency in the diff feels like right around 100. Yeah, right around 100. So, God, that old Chevy truck just sounds horrible. I almost want to go there and tune it up for the kid. So let's do this. One other thing, I know that My body manufacturer, Mr. Paul Peterson, wants to know. So this thing is 10 inches wide in the front and 10 and a half in the rear. So it's a pretty narrow car. You know what I ought to do for your punishment?
Yeah.
I ought to make you file that down
That hardened steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
File it down to
it's like
10.
It's like a drill bit. You don't have a grinder here, so.
Yeah, I do.
The air grinder.
But that's pretty much it, guys. That's the Losi 22 drag car. I think it's a really cool foundation. I think if I had to take, and granted, the DR10 is a great car. It's a great platform. I love the DR10. I think between the DR10 and this, I'd probably have to take this. I think it's just a little bit cooler of a car. It's a little bit more low slung. The A-arms and everything, there's just like no play in anything, which is kind of like the associated DR10 too. The DR10's a great kit. I'm a Losi guy. I like the Losi stuff. I like Associate. I mean, I probably own 6 RC10s and some 10Ls and stuff like that. Actually, this is a 10L right here. One of my old oval cars. So I love anything that's RC. But bang for the buck. I think that this is a really good deal from Losi and Horizon Hobbies. If there's no other questions that Rich can find, I think we've seen just about all we need to see on this car. I mean, we've looked in the tranny. We know it has metal gears. We got big bore shocks that are a little bit too light of weight of oil in the rear. But other than that, I'm going to run the car just like it is. We'll put some electronics in it, and we'll get her going. I'd like to be one of the first people in the country that gets one of these Losi goings with a 3.5 or a 3.0 and really put a heavy hitter setup in it to see how the chassis reacts. So
Paul wants to know if it fits a dirt oval car.
What?
Paul said, "Will it fit a dirt oval car?"
I don't know exactly what you're asking.
Laughing my ass off.
I have no idea what he's asking.
The sharp body dirt oval car.
This is, I think that this is narrow enough that something like this would fit on it. A lot of my faithful followers will remember this body. Damn. Now this body's been pushed out in the rear. Front's perfect. You got plenty of room in the front. A lot of people ask me, man, how'd you make the Crow so wide in the back? Because the Crow is a narrow body. And what I did on the Crow is I used underbent 90 pieces that I just bent a little bit and put them in a harder angle portion of the body behind the wheel center line to stay, keep the nuts away from ripping the tire up. And then as I screwed them in tight, the body took on the form of the piece I put in there and bent this out. So normally this thing sits in here. And my piece really flared the body out because I was trying to put a slash under it at the time. And it worked. But yes, this is by all means will fit a Shark Crow. You got plenty of room in this body. So I think it'll also be good on a standard Shark body too, or whatever body you want to run. But yeah, the car is I would categorize into a narrow car. It's a little bit wider than most narrow cars in the rear, and I like that. I like a wide rear end, you could say. But overall, it's a pretty cool car. I can't wait to run it. I mean, look at the thing. It just looks badass, dude.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so we'll throw some R1 gear in it, and we'll see if we can break something on it. Really lean on it, So yeah, I mean, if there's no more questions, we can go ahead and
go.
We can wrap this up. Yeah, I think we're good for right now. So it's got a pedestal here for your ESC. And I got 2 screws that are barely just started here, and I'm not sure what those are. Does it look like it's got another ESC shelf or plate over there?
There's no plates in here.
Okay.
Nothing.
It does have a receiver box that has 2 screws on it, and I'm sure you take this off, and it has some little outlet for your receiver wires and stuff to go in, or your servo wire and your ESC wire to go into. But it does have an enclosed box. I don't know on a drag car why they felt the need to enclose a receiver box. But I think that if I was to race this car, it'd be one of the things that I probably tore out of it for weight. I mean, it's a bunch of weight that's all the way over on one side, and But everything right down to your servo horn is here for the steering. So you literally just got to screw this onto your servo and bolt the servo down and go. So the steering, even the geometry. I mean, you got the front wheels leaning in about a degree of camber. You got just a tad of toe out. You got a little bit of toe in, and the rear wheels are damn near straight up and down. So the car comes pretty set up out of the package. So I mean, other than the thicker fluid that we put in it, it still is in stock form. So I'm definitely interested. I really like the wheels on it. I think the wheels are really good looking wheels.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I mean, if nobody's got any other questions, we can go ahead and conclude. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And I know we had that's working on cars. Is that 1 hour job that turns into 4 hours. So you're always going to run into a snag. And as you saw, we had a snag, just like when we built that Florida car that we sent out a month ago. You build something 100 times and one car will have a bad tie rod on it. You'll have to stop and deal with that. Another car will be missing one of these shims in the package and you'll have to stop and deal with that. So that's just building race cars.
Plastic shock caps, Paul.
I hope that anybody that was on the fence about buying one of these or was looking at purchasing one of these when they came out, they will be available next week at Jake's Performance Hobbies. As soon as they come in, I'm sure they'll be coming in. He's already starting to get them in, so I'm sure the big shipment's right behind it.
Definitely bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's a lot of bang for the buck, and I hope that anybody that was on the fence, that any of this video cleared up some of the questions they might have or whatever. I personally would buy it again. I'm probably not going to get rid of this car. I like it so much. I'm probably going to hang on to it and play with it a little bit. And put some electronics in it. I really like the car. I think it's an awesome car. So, without further ado, give a big shout out again to Jake's Performance Hobbies and Jake Rosen in Roanoke Park, California. You can reach him at 707-586-3375. Paul Peterson, Shark RC Bodies, Steve Villanueva R1, Dave Enstrom, and Chris Vieira over at DE, and everybody else that always just kind of makes all this work. Thanks to everybody. Thank you to all our men and women, law enforcement, fire, and God bless America. So we'll see you guys in a week or two. Hopefully I'm moving next week, so
cool.
Take some more time off work and just say, see you guys. Like a month and a half built up. We'll see you guys in July, So, all
right then.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next show. Thanks for tagging along. This video will be over at Funky Monkey Judd, so please go over, like, and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.
Peace out.
Peace out.